What's up everyone, it's DV, and today I'm doing a video on not reaching a certain coin amount, but I'm actually going to work on getting both a steel mill and a smelter as fast as I can without buying the parts or crafting materials to be able to make either of them. So except for planning on buying a better weapon, this is all grind, 100% grind to be able to make both. So with the recent factory update, I wanted to see how long it would take to grind to get a steel mill up and running as well as a smelter just from grinding manually, because I like to do these types of videos where I actually grind for my stuff. So previously these items did not take that much time to be able to make, and so in this video I'm going to be showing you tips on how to get your smelter through grinding, though I will tell you buying from a vending machine will always be easier and faster. Doing it this way is not going to be recommended. Before I begin, please hit that like button if you like my islands videos, and smash the subscribe button if you are new or forgot to do so, since YouTube tells me 3 out of 4 of you actually haven't subbed yet. So you might have forgotten, but that's okay. I still appreciate every single one of you. So let's go ahead and get to it. So first we need to get off this island. So I've got to go through this tutorial, and I've got to, break down some trees, and we got to make a wooden sword as fast as we can to be able to get a buffalo core key by killing slimes. And we also need to get to buffalo core island to be able to start grinding gold. And so of course I need a wooden pickaxe and all that kind of fun stuff, and eventually a stone pickaxe, because the wooden pickaxe is going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible to do anything and break anything with that. You kind of have to when you're starting out, but we don't want to be stuck with that very long. Now the reason why we're going to go after gold is because the steel mill does require a bunch of gold and a ton of iron, so twice as much iron compared to the gold. So we do have to start out with making some campfires to be able to make iron, because we do need to smelt the iron ore to be able to get enough iron ingots to be able to make small furnaces. So I'm going to go ahead and create a couple of these here just so we can get a quick start on it, and once that's ready, we're going to go ahead and head off to Slime Island. So now we got my wooden sword, I'm going to go ahead and head off to Slime Island, and we're going to get some buffalo core keys. Now if you have an auto clicker, I'd highly recommend using an auto clicker with that wooden sword, because it's just going to be really exhausting to use the clicking, because we're going to be having to kill these a lot. So we don't really want to start having click fatigue that quick. So we killed enough slime to get a buffalo core key, so we're going to go ahead and head over to buffalo core island. And as I was killing buffalo core for a wizard key, I realized and remembered that with this last update with the factory, at least part 1, they made getting gold much easier. So basically gold ore spawns a lot faster and it gives you more gold. So I realized, why am I even trying to go for wizard island if everything's here? So I just decided to start grinding gold here instead of worrying about the wizard keys. So because we only need like 50 gold, and I want to make sure we also have a bunch of iron ore so that when I go back to my island, I need to smelt it, because I need about 100 of those, and that's specifically for steel mill. So I went ahead and smelted enough iron to be able to make a small furnace to speed things up, because campfires waste a lot of fuel because you can only do one at a time, and furnaces are essentially mini smelters, right? So they have there's a few differences in that smelters can smelt copper, and they can't actually make dried bamboo, and they can't actually make dried grass and stuff, whereas furnaces can. But I really like furnaces because you can fit 3 items at a time, and so if you can't afford a smelter, this is the way to go. Obviously you should already have one by now if you've been playing the game for a bit, but don't underestimate the value of keeping some small furnaces on hand even after you get some smelters. So since I'm going to have to farm a lot more iron, I decided to go ahead and make an iron pickaxe as someone's anvil. So be sure to take advantage of other people's islands and their equipment. If you are a new player and you just want to quickly get off your island, remember you could just go to a published island and you could just exit their portal. You don't have to actually ask for an invite to get off of someone's island to go buy grass or anything like that. So if you want to be able to get off your island quickly, just hit that compass on the left to be able to go to someone's published island, and then just head straight out that person's portal. So some people like to block, like they might enclose you or block their portal, or they might lock you into this building so you can't get out onto their main island. If that's the case, just go to someone else's island. It's fine. Just remember, they have workbenches and stuff that you can use. That you can't use their furnaces and you can't use their smelters and stuff, because that that would be kind of messed up if you can take their stuff or use their stuff like that. But workbenches where you just create things and it doesn't really show the item physically there. So anvils, workbenches, cooking tables, all that kind of stuff, you can use those all day long and not have to have one yourself, which is really nice. It saves you a lot of resources and having even time. It saves you a lot of time if you're a new player. So don't ever worry about creating a tier 2 or tier 3. Just go and straight on to a published island. And the nice thing is, on a lot of those published islands, they will often sell those tier 3 workbenches. I've seen them priced all the way from 50,000 all the way up to like 250,000. So just keep an eye out for those. I see them every now and then, and so I think I've accumulated like 5 over the span of the published islands. So I just need 100 iron ingots to craft a steel mill. So since the steel mill does require a tier 3 workbench, I just went ahead and went to a published island and used theirs, and then I crafted the steel mill. But now, because now that we got the steel mill, of course now it's time to start working on the smelter. Now, in order to make a smelter, I need 3 pink sticky gears, right? And the only way to get pink sticky gears is by killing pink slimes on Slime Island. And so what I wanted to do here is next, I just want to sell some materials to be able to get some coins, because we really need that title spellbook, and it is super affordable to be able to trade for. I mean, pretty much every seller has one because these items got duped heavily. Pretty much every shop on the published servers are going to have one of these, and they're usually cheap. They go from anywhere between 200,000 to 300,000, sometimes less if you can find a really good deal. But I went ahead and found someone that was buying Cry Gold, because obviously while you're farming for gold, you're probably going to get a lot of stuff like that. You might get crystallized iron, you might get crystallized gold, you might also get some blue stickies and a ton of green stickies from killing slimes. So you're going to get a lot of rare resources while you're grinding during this process, and that just gives you the ability to go and sell those items for coins that can help you buy these items that you need. So the only thing I bought from one of these vendors is a title spellbook, and that's all I'd recommend, unless you want to, just skip this entire process and go straight for buying a smelter. That's fine. You can buy your stuff anytime you want. But the whole point of this video was not to do that kind of shortcut, because that's kind of RNG. That's a little too RNG for me. I decided to do the grind manually for this, so I'd really understand how long it truly takes to be able to get your own steel mill and your own smelter, because I threw out some times and estimates the other day in my video with my cheap builds video, and I realized I really need to see for myself to see how hard it is to get the smelter, because the steel mill itself only took me like 40 minutes to get, since title spellbooks do have an AoE attack, or an area of effect attack, which essentially means it doesn't just hit one target, it hits nearby targets too. So if there's an enemy nearby, it's going to actually cause damage to that enemy as well. So with slimes, they're really vulnerable to the title spellbook, because they do like to bunch up really close to each other, and so you can pretty much attack like 6 to 8 of these at once and kill them with very few shots. So you do want that title. It's going to help you a ton, especially while you're grinding, because you need to get those pink slimes to spawn, and by killing pink slimes, you're having a chance to be able to have them drop a pink sticky gear. So titles typically go for, again, anywhere between 200,000 and 300,000. So I was lucky enough to find someone buying Cry Gold. I didn't get a whole lot for it, but I think I got a fair deal on that, and so I was able to afford. I also sold some gold, but I was able to afford a title from this same vendor that was buying my stuff. And since the smelter does require 3 pink sticky gears, this is my new priority. So I went ahead and started grinding for one. It took around 3 hours of nonstop grinding to finally get 3 pink sticky gears. The first 2 actually dropped really quick. Like the first hour, I was able to kill them, and then it took another 2 hours to get one more. All I kept doing is I kept getting stupid pink slime balls. And the kills, I think the total kills that I did for these was around, I think I killed like, was under 100. I think I killed like maybe 80 or so, and I got my 3rd, but I did kill over 1,000 green slimes. I did cut that out in this video because I think it's just too long. I mean, obviously doing a time lapse would have been fine, but it's just a really long time lapse, so I didn't really want to do that too. But I was able to confirm my theory that if you kill a lot of blues, you're more likely to spawn a pink. So it does seem to be a consistent thing. So the more blues you kill, the more likely you're going to spawn pinks. Is what I found. So you're not gonna. I killed a lot of greens. Again, I killed a lot of greens, and every single time I tested, just focusing on the blues first, I spawned more pinks. And the key here is to focus on the blues first, not the greens, because you want to kill the blues. And if you're killing blues, the blues I think are giving you the roll for being able to spawn pinks. I could be completely wrong. It could be a complete coincidence, but I did kill 1,000 greens. I might know something here by now. I was looking for it. I was watching for it, and I noticed it. Every single time I focused on blues, pinks would spawn. Anytime I focused on greens, I would not get any pinks. So that's just something I did observe. Now, a tip for being able to kill slimes very easily, especially if you're on PC, but it may be working on mobile as well, is to go into first-person view, because shift lock doesn't really work very well with sprints on islands. So just run circles around the slimes and get them to bunch up, or we call it train. So essentially you're getting them all to chase you, right? They're all aggroing you or chasing you, and get them to bunch up and then just turn around and attack them. and you can pretty much eliminate an entire group within a few hits instead of having to aim at them individually. So that's pretty much what I did, is I just kind of circled around them and I got them all to bunch up closely, and then I just shot into the center of it, and I would just destroy groups and groups and groups of slimes, and that's how I was able to kill over 1,000 of these things. And again, 3 hours later, I was finally getting my third pink sticky gear, but of course now I need to grind 200 steel ingots by hand. And the reason is you need to actually have 8 different steel rods, and every steel rod requires 25 steel ingots. That's a lot of steel. So I had to farm 200 steel ingots by hand. It was a nightmare. It took about an hour and a half to do, and doing it because I didn't have a smelter, I didn't have any conveyor belts, I didn't have any kind of conveyor chests, I didn't have an industrial chest, I didn't really have a whole lot of coal or iron yet, so I had to farm iron and coal at the same time. And then I had to just manage it manually because I couldn't queue stuff up automatically. So it was a big pain in the butt, but it was again, nonstop for an hour and a half. I kind of wish I had like some chests, but I didn't have any chests because, you know, that requires steel as well. So once I had all the materials though, after I got all the materials to make my 8 steel rods, I was able to just go over to a published island that had an anvil. So I could just borrow that to make the rods. Then after that, I found their tier 3 to make the smelter, because all I need again was the materials, and I just had to find someone with an anvil and a tier 3. The entire video itself took around 6 hours, which is a really, really long grind for me to have to do. And that is way longer than it used to be to make a smelter. It used to be a lot faster to be able to make a smelter. I think the first time that I ever made a smelter, it took me about, I think it was like 4 hours, and 3 of that was just killing the pinks, you know, trying to find pink slimes. And I swear they made it harder. I don't know. I feel like they made it harder to get pinks. I'm not positive, but it feels that way. So what I would recommend is not trying to grind for your smelter, and just grind a bunch of steel mills and sell those to people, and then gain enough coins to be able to buy a smelter. Or even take any of my other approaches. You can farm a ton of gold, sell all the gold, sell the cry gold as well, sell some crystallized iron, and then buy your smelter that way. But if you really, really want to grind for your own smelter, just be prepared for about a 6 to 8 hour investment, because I actually know the paths, I know the shortcuts, I know how to do things very quickly. So, you know, it only took me 6 hours to do this, but I guarantee you, if I didn't know what I was doing, it would take me probably an entire day. It would probably take me 8 to 10 hours. I don't know. It depends. I mean, I also just did this nonstop. So if you're taking breaks in between, you're probably talking at least a day to get your smelter. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I hope you'll remember to subscribe and tap that like button, and I'll see you all next time. Take it easy.